there's
Yeah.
always that level of pride and
hmm
respect to be, moving someone in our military.
Hi everyone, I'm Katie McMichael, Executive Director of Movers for America, and this is Short Fuse, where we break down the future of military moves, federal contracts, and all the innovation that's happening around it. So today I'm super excited because I'm joined by Griselda Gonzalez. She is the Corporate Government and Nonprofit Relocation and Storage Manager for CG Moving Company in California. And she has actually written a fantastic op ed for Movers for America a couple months back that really gave, I think, an insight into the world of movers that, they're not super involved in military, but were maybe looking to get involved in it through the transformation of GHC. And she's here with us today to sort of talk about her experience of, what she was hoping to find out of GHC, and then really when we look to the future now that GHC is canceled, what does a successful program need to look like in order to entice really great quality moving and storage companies like hers to participate?
Thank you so much, Katie. It's so good to see you and to
Yeah.
be here. We're a very small mover, and we, like you said, we're based out of California,
hmm
but we've been doing this since 2005. So we're not new to moving. And I think that's something that I see a lot in our industry,
Yeah.
that once maybe you start doing commercial moves, like in our example, our niche is healthcare and labs, but then you also want to diversify into other revenue streams. And obviously, military is, just another revenue stream. You're selling to the largest
Yeah.
buyer, right? The U.S. government. So I
Right.
think there's definitely a lot of opportunities for movers and other contractors to tap into that. But it is very regulated in terms of just the requirements, the paperwork, the obviously access to base and military
hmm
facilities, which we're all for, right? Like let's protect our service members and who's accessing those places
Right.
and their homes. That's really important. But there are so many layers of complexity to the handling of a military move.
Yeah, one thing I hear, and you can, one thing I hear a lot is, or maybe you can, share some additional insights, is when you look at the impact on the curb. So the actual drivers and laborers that are doing this work. One thing I hear a lot about is, the really good drivers, the really good laborers that are high in demand, when they're given a choice between, hey, I can do just a, commercial move where I go in and I do what I do best, or I can, do a military move, they kind of shy away from the military moves because they don't want to have to sit there and say, well, I don't know if I can do this. Let me consult the handbook. So I've actually heard from some folks that for how complex the business rules have gotten in DP3, it's actually pushed drivers and laborers, the really good quality ones, away from doing that because it's just too overly complicated, and they're in such demand that they can always find work elsewhere.
Yeah, I think if given the choice, I think there's
Yeah.
always that level of pride and
hmm
respect to be, moving someone in our military. And I'm really aware of that. The drivers, the movers are very aware of what they're moving, right?
Right.
The importance of that move.
I think they say the three most stressful things in life is losing your job, a death in the family, and moving. I think is like those are the top three most stressful things. So to have to go through that over and over again, um, it's like you want to have as much patience and respect for those customers as you can,
Yeah.
and you want to
Yeah.
help them as much as you can too. So, in looking to the future, right? So they have tried GHC, they canceled the contract. As somebody that would be looking to diversify into military, what are some things that you would love to see out of really whatever the next iteration of this program is?
Yeah, so that's I think it's perfect timing. Just we got the report out right
Right, from GAO.
from GAO, and I think what I hear and from what I've been able to read in between, running payroll and doing all the things that I have to do as a small business owner, it's things that we already knew, right?
Yeah.
That the dissatisfaction from the service member, um,
Hmm.
the exiting of the military moving by movers. It
Right.
was really tough based on the rates that they had. So
Hmm.
I think as we move forward, one of the things that I would encourage all the decision makers or the stakeholders is to include a diverse coalition, is what I would call it,
Hmm.
of movers. And I think that for the most part, most trade associations, the IAM, ATA, the MSC, the state associations, California Moving, New Jersey,
Hmm.
South North Carolina, all the regional and state associations, I think those are
Right.
really good places to tap into because they represent hopefully the interest of all movers, not just the
Right.
large movers, the large van lines, the mid-size and super big moving companies. But for the most part, I think the majority of people supporting these moves, they will be small businesses, and so you need to have
Yeah.
that diversity of experience and voices. They're very different struggles, I think, when you're a small mover, but we do provide the capacity, and we have been providing capacity. The alienation or exclusion of industry input was like critical in just how this process was rolled out,
Yeah. Hmm.
right? And you have to engage
Right.
industry. You have to engage industry. Fuel surcharge, right? Like no one
Hmm.
wants to take on a move, a cross country move, where you're gonna have to pay out of pocket, out of your own pocket to do the move.
I definitely agree. Like having stakeholders that represent small, medium, large is really important because all these like small decisions that they're making, while it may seem like, oh, this is just, this is a small little requirement we're adding in here, you know, in practice, that could be a huge time suck for you, and it would impede your ability to be able to service more shipments.
Well,
So I
and
hear that. I
resources.
hear that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, the resources. So I'll give you an example. The requirement that they had, the Service Contract Act
Yeah.
requirement. That's on top of the, I don't know how many pages that business rules, and uh,
It's
that's
long.
that's long. And so on top of that, then you had to, and no guidance either, no resources, no
Right.
guidance from the prime or anybody really. So it's like, yes, you want to do the work and you want to do it right and you want to follow the law, the federal law, the state law. We're in
Right.
San Francisco and Sacramento, so you know you have to deal with municipal level ordinances and laws regarding pay,
Yeah.
and well, without any guidance, that was going to be on the subcontractor, on the movers to figure out how do we comply. And so things like
Yeah.
that, they're not realistic. They might be realistic for other types of government contracts, but for this type of work where you're moving across, sometimes, I mean, literally from California to the other coast,
Yeah.
how many municipalities do you cross in between,
Yes.
and so you have to think of those things as you're revamping or making this better. And then of
Yes.
course I think on the service member side, a lot of times, the movers will show up and maybe it's their first move. Maybe it's a young family moving, and maybe it's really the first time they have to move. They have an idea of what that move is going to be
Yeah. In their head.
in their
Hmm.
head, but the
Right.
rules say something else. And so then it's back
Yes.
to the mover to say, hey, the curtains or the frames on, the picture frames, all these things, we can't take them down.
Right.
And they're used to maybe a different type of move, and if they move in a
Hmm.
residential just regular setting, they know, hey, like, I'm gonna pay for this, so do what I'm asking you to do.
Right.
Completely different on military moves.
Yeah, and that's hard because, the movers that are there, they want to help, but the rules are very rigid and specific. It puts them in a position of having to say no, and they don't really want to say no. But there's not flexibility in the rules for them to be able to help. And then I think that when we hear about the service at the curb and improving that, there's avoidable situations like that. So
Yeah, and
that is right.
educating the service members so they know, like, it's not the mover saying no.
Right.
It's the mover following the rules that
Right.
we're given to follow. But even something as simple as, hey, we have to walk your property before we go in, and just make any notes of any prior, scratches or dents on the walls or
Sure.
whatever. And so just educating the customer on,
Yeah.
expect this, and I know they have those resources, but definitely I think they need a little bit more support when it
Yeah.
comes to that.
Yeah, just setting proper expectations so that when they show up at the house, everybody knows what's going on. Because it is a complex process, and making sure the service member knows what's going to happen and what is allowed to be done and what isn't allowed to be done could just, I think, help keep all the tensions down and less friction at the curb.
Yeah, and I think the movers understand. Like, we do this every single day. Yes,
Yeah.
moving is, like you said, one of the most stressful life events, right?
Mhm.
But this is what we do for a living. So I think there's a lot of knowledge and wisdom and expertise on those people that are actually doing the work, the drivers,
Mhm.
the movers, the packers, all those third party services that have to deal with
Right.
washing machines and other
Yeah.
things. So there's a lot of experience there, and whoever is in charge right now needs to really tap into to those groups and really do it right for the service members. It's the
Yeah,
least we can
absolutely.
do. It's,
Yeah,
yes,
absolutely.
our work is hard, and it's heavy. It's not glamorous, right? Like, it's
Mhm.
especially on during the summer months, and you're like in Texas or in
Yeah.
Georgia, all those places. It's not fun. It's hard work.
No, yeah, it's hard work, and you're hoping everybody put deodorant on that day, and
And
like
you're
just
hoping your truck, like you're taking care of your equipment, but you don't
yeah.
control the roads. I want something that's better for our industry, also for our service members. And I think it's such a good opportunity right now to make those changes. And it's probably
Yeah,
not going to be perfect, just like nothing is,
right.
but there is a lot of room for improvement. And I think
Yeah.
they need to reach out.
So, any final thoughts for us, Griselda, before we end today?
Yeah, I think I just want to remind our industry that yes, the GHC has ended, and there are new changes coming, but you still need to be engaged, and whether that means being in touch with your regional or state or national trade association, or directly voicing your concerns to this group, or when they're asking for feedback and input, stay engaged, because this is affecting, even if you think it's not affecting you, because, oh, I don't do military moving, or, oh, I exited, like a lot of people did. I exited the military moves, and now I'm doing only local or only commercial or corporate moves. It does affect you, and I just want to remind people, like, we are all connected, even if you think you're not. This will, like we saw, I mean, it will affect all of us. So stay connected, stay engaged, and stay informed.
Great, thank you.